Hello, my name is Chloe Aitken. I'm on the Pegasus team here at TMB, and this is the next in our series of short hints and tips videos for Pegasus Opera 3. And today we're going to have a look at the favourites bar. So under my login, you can see that I already have under my favourites bar a system group, and within that I've added shortcuts to monitor users, backup, restore and update data structures. So let's say I also wanted to add shortcuts to the various period end functions. So if I pop into financials and utilities and end of period, right click on add to favourites. Now by default it wants me to add it to a group called sales. What I'm actually going to do is create a new group called period end. And I'm going to call this the display name sales ledger end of period and click OK. If we pop into our favourites, you can see we've now created a new group called period end, and within that is our end of period command for the sales ledger. So let's do the same with the purchase ledger. So again, by default it thinks it should go in a group called purchase, but I'm going to pop it in my period end group that I created, and we're going to call this purchase ledger end of period. Back into favourites, you can see that's building up nicely. And then let's add our nominal period end function. So right click, add to favourites, pop it in my period end group, and then we're going to just call it nominal ledger period end and click OK. So now when I run my period end, I can come to my favourites bar and just run through each of the period end functions, having first of course backed up. So let's have a look at adding reports to our favourites. So if we go to financials, let's say every month we do the debtors report. So add to favourites. Now if we want to, we can add it to sales, or again we can create a new blank group called reports. So you can see here we now have a new group called reports, and then we also perhaps do our creditors report, so let's add that. Again we'll add it to reports, and perhaps we'll add the cash book report as well, just in case we need to check our cash book. So again, pop it in reports. I'm going to call it cash book report. Click OK. And then perhaps we want to add our fixed asset register or something. So let's have a look at our asset list. Let's add that as well. And again, we'll pop it under reports. So those are all showing now. Let's say that I've actually decided that I don't want the asset list after all. I've changed my mind. I'm going to remove that. And what about if I think actually it'd be more useful if my debtors and creditors report were in with my period end stuff? So what I'm going to do, I can't actually move them by drag and dropping, but what I can do is just remove them from here. And if I come out of Opera and go back in, and log on, let's go to my debtors report, right click, add to favourites, and this time I want to pop it in my period end. Click OK. So if we look at favourites, I've moved it from reports and it's now sitting under debtors report. What's also quite nice is you can add a link to an application from outside of Opera to your favourites bar. So what you would do is just right click on the favourites tab, add new application shortcut to favourites, and this opens up this form here. So you need to know where the executable is for that particular application, so if that's Word or Excel for example. I'm going to link to Internet Explorer so that I can have a quick shortcut to our internal SharePoint site. So if I click on the ellipse and find Internet Explorer, so I know it's in program files, that's 86, Internet Explorer, and here's my executable. So it's going to create a new group called applications, and that's fair enough. I'm going to change the display name to Internet Explorer. And if I wanted to, I could pick up an icon or a graphics file. If I don't, which I'm not going to, we'll just end up with a little Opera 3 logo as per here for our icon. So if we click OK to that, I now have a new shortcut under my applications group to Internet Explorer. And if I click on that, assuming I have access to the internet, my local home page, which in this case is my SharePoint, will open up for me. So that's a brief introduction to the favourites bar. Thank you.